thank you for joining day 557 of The Journey Begins. All right, sounds like audio's good. Looks like chat's good. Bear with me a moment while we get our video monitoring up. Right, I think we're in good shape. All right, let's do this. Right, we are live on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. We do still need to reach out to TikTok support to make sure that we're not going to lose live access in 2 weeks. Less now. Hopefully some of the audio comes through. If not, we'll have to fix that next time. But our plan today is to mend our tools, do some more digging on the north side of the ravine, while we kind of sit on the shape that we want of the clock tower. Alright, so that's pretty good there. So we'll spend a little more time focusing on chat here at the front. And then we'll see how much mending we need to do in the latter half. If we need to close out on mending as well. We are still working on some of our, we are working on our writing projects. We're still working on chapter 18 outline for our story here, Overmorrow, Inkwood, and the like. Maybe see if we can squeeze some of that in today. Well, thank you when I'm sleeping. How's the Sunday going? And do you play any Minecraft or other games? Our other book is just going to be a shorter book unrelated to this. We may make some quick announcements on that once we get it published. It's just help keep the creativity going, or get it going. And the third writing project is related to this. We're working on a Substack to have more of a journal project update that persists for the story here and the builds and whatnot. So more than just the VODs, which would be kind of the raw material. So we'll have a condensed version of that with thoughts behind things, screenshots, maybe clips, and maybe links to specific pieces of VODs or not. And then information that doesn't get covered as much, such as coordinates of things within this world, any statistics that we can provide, hours played, blocks broken, things of that nature. So that's kind of the plan there. Trying to get other ways to provide more information, as well as give opportunities to share out what we're working on in case anyone likes it and wants to help spread the word. So this doesn't look like it's going to take too terribly long. I think we're going to shoot for an hour for this stream, a little shorter than I would like, but we want to keep the streams at a minimum of an hour. It is Sunday, so today is also a Planet Crafter Day, so we'll be doing that sometime later today. Keep an eye out on Blue Sky for that. Yeah, so we're going to just keep mending our mend our shovel all the way up. We'll probably mend our Silk Touch most of the way up, so we'll see how that goes. Welcoming Project Unemployment. And the more engagement we get, the more encouragement we get, the more we'll lengthen the streams, throw in a variety of other things. So we did have to cancel our Satisfactory stream yesterday. Some real world things that we have to do. But in general, we play Minecraft every day during the week, Monday through Friday. It's generally a start time between 10 and 11 a.m. Pacific time. And then we play for 1 to 2 hours. On Fridays and Saturdays, we do Satisfactory, usually in the evenings. And Sunday, well, Satisfactory is on the evenings on Fridays and late afternoon on Fridays. So on Fridays, typically around 6, 7 o'clock. On Saturdays, 2, 3 o'clock usually. Planet Crafter is usually in the evening, so 2, 3 o'clock on Sundays and around 10, 11 a.m. on Monday. So Minecraft generally follows Planet Crafter on Monday. Probably need to write that down so it can be a little smoother getting that timeline out, but that is our general gaming timeline. We also have Wildcard Wednesdays. So last week we played A Little to the Left. The plan is to do that again this Wednesday. And then we'll take it from there. We'll see what we do next. Wildcard Wednesdays may not be a new game every Wednesday, at least not unless we get a big enough queue of games. But the plan is to try out new things on Wednesdays. So if you have any suggestions, you can message me in any of the chats, message me on any of the socials, and if it's something that I feel fits with the goals of the channel, or the goals of the project that we're working on, the community, then we'll add it to the docket. Actually, pretty good purpose. And we'll probably repeat this a few times as we get going, but our original design for our skeleton spawner key farm here was another 20 blocks slower, but we had to move it up because I forgot that was too far away to activate the spawner. So I guess it's not bad. So we started the stream mending the tool. It'll take 10 minutes to get a little over half. So I generally try to save it for the end of the stream and cap it at 5 minutes and then do the remainder of mending off stream. But since we didn't get to do that last night, we're doing it today. And taking a time to keep an eye on chat. A little more closely and try to more present. And I think, oh, I don't think the follow-up. I have to check that again. We should have a announcements that display on screen for follows and likes across the platforms. It is set up and it does work sometimes. Other times it seems like something is off and it doesn't quite go through, so we'll just have to see how that goes as we get more members in the community. I need to think of a better saying for that. What would we call like more people in the party or more something more journey focused? We call our points, I guess, across our platform steps. But something kind of in that vein. I need to think of something like that. You know, enjoying the journey, but then member of the caravan, member of the party. Something a little more clever. Welcome in, Tanya. All right. So we're just mending our silk touch. Is it our silk touch? No, we don't have silk touch for that. So we're mending some of our tools because we didn't get a chance to do that yesterday. Generally, we do this off stream, minus the last 5 or so minutes of streams periodically. We'll use this as a chance to answer any questions about the story that we're trying to tell here in Minecraft, gaming, food, Legos, general chat. Which for anyone that might be new, the world here is a project where everything we build is part of a story that we're actually trying to write. So we're actually trying to write a novel and build the world here. And whenever we get that done, we'll make the announcement for that. So it would be, you know, a more streamlined story because you'd be getting a written version that you could buy. But if you stick around the streams, you could piece together the story yourself. So it's more a way to support the projects and what we're doing than anything. We do have a builder's journal that we want to do as well, in addition to the Substack missions earlier. That's currently over on GitLab, but we might move that over to Substack or dual purpose it. Because Substack, it would be a little bit easier to read and is more article focused. I just like doing Git stuff and technical stuff, so keeping it on GitLab was a fun thing to do, but not as much discoverability there, being that it's a coding, more or less a coding storage system than anything else. And also trying to keep the number of projects we have down and keep them more in a queue so that we can actually get things done and continue to work on these things. Welcome in, Touche. Nice name. Is my hand cam going? Yeah, still need to get that. I really need to fix that this week. Don't know what to do with that. I need to see if I have another mic arm or something maybe I can use for that. So on our setup, we're using a Shure SM7B mic with the XLR component. And we're running that off of an actual mic stand so that it's not attached to the desk, so we can avoid any vibrations that way. Not that I'm a professional audio engineer by any stretch, but that seems to be a common thing to do. Although some podcasts, I think, just have it clamped to the desk, but they have audio engineers to compensate for that kind of thing, so. This makes it easy for me. Yeah. So I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, yeah. But because we moved our mic from an arm attached to the desk to a mic stand, that means the arm that we were using is available, and we could use that for our cam. So that might be something we could do. Our desk is kind of small though, so I'm not sure to set this up, but we'll figure it out. So we are using a 2.5 PC setup. So we have our gaming PC with some chat on it and the game. Just send that through a capture card over to our streaming PC, which has OBS, the other chats, our restream and things like that running on it. And then we have a Chromebook so that we can monitor some of the audio and video stuff on the live side. So we see what should be going out on OBS. And then we use the Chromebook to manage what's actually coming out on what everyone else sees on the other side of the internet. So it works out pretty good, but our desk is just a small 2.5 feet probably by 4 feet maybe. Not a terribly large desk. All right. Oh, do we have things? No, none of our armor needs mending. Well, I guess we are in kind of the lime green territory. That is one thing that I would like to see on the bedrock side, or I guess any side, is maybe it doesn't have to be on the hotbar, but when you're up in your inventory, at least being over to mouse over tools and see their numeric durability would be really nice. And I have been playing a little Java as well. Not for any streaming purposes, but just to kind of test things out. Because we do make the world download available every 6 months, or backup of it, so you can get a historical downloads if you really wanted to. And I haven't done it yet, but that is on the bucket list of things to test out of can the world import work in a Java world, since the seed should be seed parity now. So the world is actually older than that. It's like a 2019. Yeah, I think 2019 or so. So it's going on, what, 6 years? 20. Yeah, so it's going on 6 years and a couple months. I think it's sometime around this time of the year, September, October, November, somewhere in that quarter. So that's before the seed parity. So I'm kind of curious if that will work, because I do want everyone to be able to use the world if they want. So we'll see if that works. And then if it does, then it will give me a few more opportunities to do things like the replay mod and whatnot. It won't be quite the same because I think that's something that would need to be integrated into Bedrock, so it's actually capturing the builds that I'm working on. Doing it in Java, I don't think it would capture things that it wouldn't historically capture things. It's not a separate file of all the movements and things that are placed, at least as I understand it. So I couldn't go back and create replays of everything I've done so far. It would have to be starting the mod during a stream, and it would record what I do, and then making videos from that is how I understand it. So it would give some more flexibility, but definitely a step forward. What I'm really hoping for is with a lot of the backend changes that Mojang is making, that replay mod and things like that can work on Bedrock eventually. But the parrot end, I really hope they come up with a configuration editor, something that's out of the box. I mentioned this before, where you have a set of predefined configurations for your easy, medium, hard, survival, hardcore, easy, peaceful. So, you know, you have 12, 15 buckets or something of that, like predefined configurations. But then you can kind of pick one of those as your base and create a personalized one and customize it. And the reason I say that is you have things like, some people might like it, but in Java, you're clicking the item here and then having to create it from your crafting table. But you can create things directly from the crafting table here in Bedrock. So things like that, where things are snapshotting the differences of Bedrock and Java today. And then when those things are implemented in parity, it just means that a default was chosen and you could change it back, because you could implement it to do both once you have a unified code base. And especially if Java is getting the multi-threading, so if it's getting some of the efficiency and whatnot of Bedrock, then eventually it's going to come down to writing it in one language, in C, C++, and converting it to Java, or vice versa. You still need a lot of testing and experts in those languages just to debug, but there's been a lot of progress in code portability. And given the structure of code in general, that isn't, it can be really tedious, but having software that automates it for you can make it much, much easier to port from one language to another. At least that's what I'm hoping for, is that configuration editor in particular. I think that would add the most sand to the box, because then anything that you implement that is a behavior you could tweak. And maybe to some extent, like, you couldn't add new mobs. That would be for mods. But maybe you could have the ability to turn certain mods on and off. So maybe if you didn't want Enderman in your configuration, you could just turn off Enderman spawn and keep everything else. I think that would add the most sand to the box, and I think that's what Mojang really needs to lean into and be the, at least, I could be entirely wrong, but I think that would be the least controversial because nobody would be really losing anything. It's not, why would you do this versus that, or catering to this group or that group. You might have a little bit of that for what is chosen as default, but at least having the option to change it back, I think would appease a good portion of players. And I think with the way how creative the community is, you could get a lot more out of things like that. The mini games and all that kind of stuff. You could really, since you lost like adventure mode, you could get some of that back. So maybe if you wanted like a Zombieland, World War Z, zombie movie kind of vibe, you could turn off the skeletons and everything else and just have a world full of zombies. I think there's a lot that could be done with something like that. And then just general quality of life things too. Because I like the randomness of the luck turns to get trades from villagers. I think gatekeeping it behind biomes is not a good idea. If it is the only idea. If you, again, had a configuration where you could choose that option or the re-rolling for the lecterns, I think then you're covering a wider base, and it would be a matter of a config, and then some configs maybe you could do live in the game, and others you might have to do whenever the server starts up, and then you're kind of stuck with that. But I think that's at least a decent option. And then people that are looking for servers and better understand what they're joining. So you could search for servers with particular sets of configurations, or which I guess would be another tool that Mojang could add to the launcher. Not just finding servers by name or maybe latency or number of players, but rather what mods are enabled, what configuration is server side. Because if it's player side configuration, no one really needs to worry about it because everyone can do their own. But if you're doing something that's server side, maybe like fighting the Ender Dragon gets you Elytra, so you can just keep fighting the dragon. Maybe you like that, maybe you don't. So being able to search for a server that meets your preference, I think, would be a really positive addition to the community. We're getting pretty close. Yeah, the stream's probably not going to be as, not that they're all particularly exciting, but we're going to probably be a little bit. Oh, thank you. A little over half of the stream mending, which gives an idea of when you see the tools, the durability go down, and then it's back to full the next stream. The amount of time that we spend off stream doing some of that kind of admin work. All right. Okay. Getting out there. So, yeah, we're not going to mend our fortune pickaxe today. We're going to limit to fully mending our shovel and maybe half of our Silk Touch. Or maybe we'll head out. Or maybe we'll do just a little mending on our Silk Touch now. Spend a couple minutes doing that, and then head over. And then we can come back and mend our tools. Hopefully we can get it done tonight. Right. And we are trying to get to 70 followers affiliate on Twitch and 1,000 followers on TikTok with a stopover at 500. So if you're liking our streams, feel free to stick around. And if you really like it, feel free to share it out. Welcome in, Sharon. How's it going? All right, all right. And our frame, our FPS looks pretty good. We're holding right around 60, give or take a frame. Our frames dropped due to rendering lag is almost 2% though. So it's kind of hit or miss on what's causing that. Because our streaming PC is Core i7. I mean, it doesn't have a super fancy graphics card, but it does the job. Oh, thank you for the like, Kurt. Welcome back. Welcome in TikTok ICO. Let's that out. All right. Let's get that back. Okay. Well, I want to get some stuff done today, so I think we'll fly back later. And do the rest of our mending. For now, we'll see how much digging we can get done. Because to get our fortune based on our time so far, it'll probably be the entire stream just mending tools. Which, unless we implement that as kind of a viewer point redemption, then we're probably not going to do something like that. Stop up here for a second, make sure that we have... Oh, do we have enough? Oh, we don't have any... We don't have any more coal. Do we have any down here? Let's see. Well, we have plenty of this, but do we have any already mined full? We do not. Okay, so let's start over here. Then we'll make some torches. Oh, then we'll sleep probably. Yeah, see from here we can just click and make that right from the in the interface, which we can't do in Java. Okay, so what kind of stuff do we have on us? Okay. Just keep the dirt. We can drop off some of this stuff. And then we'll go drop off dirt and diorite. Yep. Okay. Oh, we'll probably need some carrots too. So we're getting low on food. And we have some larger food farms throughout the world, but we're also trying to keep some of these little ones incorporated in there so that in case we need any food, we just take a little bit and it grows back. Even things that are kind of part of the decoration, unless it's a flower. Maybe it would interrupt the art for a second, but eventually it will grow back. All right, so let's go over here. All right, so what level are we at? 59? Okay. Let's see if we can get everything down 58. Oh yeah, and then at some point we'll have to consider on this side how much we have to edit the edge of the ravine, because we should be... Yeah, so we can see the edge of the clock tower here. So we'll have to see how that works. Maybe we could have it hang over, and while it wouldn't be in this story, add a little bit of conflict there. The ravine has been kind of cutting under the clock tower, and efforts have been made to preserve the footing. Oh yeah, we don't want to let that go. So let's... Yeah, so you can see the lava flows straight down there. So let's get all of this cut out. We don't want to do anything with that. Cut enough of a perimeter around this so that it should be safe and we shouldn't hit anything. Okay. So the last thing we want is to unleash that lava and then fall into it and have another zombie's revenge. And the purpose of that is this goes all the way down to the bedrock. So we drilled a few exploratory boreholes so that when we get to the cavern down there, we can get a sense of the shape of Inkwood above. So we have a visual indicator of that down there. So that's why we have those lava columns. All right, so yeah, I think this will be pretty good. We'll get some of this dirt down here. We can be able to drop this off over at our shulker boxes, and then over tomorrow, another day. So we'll... I don't know if we'll end the stream back at the experience farm, or if we'll just do that, go there off stream as well. More meaning whether we save the last minute or two to fly over there or not. We'll figure that out, because we've got 20 minutes or so more to go. Alright, so do that. Take down our stone here, and there we go. We'll take out the dirt and sand and the perimeter on this level. Oh yeah, we were trying to get down everything down to Y58, so we've got a little ways to go here. Okay. Let's clear out this. So we'll cut the dirt here. Perfect. We'll leave that there, because we're gonna finesse this later whenever we get to the water feature. So for now, let's get what dirt and stuff we can from the top, then we'll come through with our pickaxe to get the rest. This way we don't have to do so much tool switching. Not that we're always the most efficient at everything. A little bit here and there isn't so bad. Okay. Let's cut through here. We'll break this up into a few smaller sections. Okay. And now we can up and down this. And yeah. We'll do this for the next several minutes, and we'll have more progress done on this side of the ravine. And again, we're adding a few more phases to spread out some of the work, so just taking it down to Y10, somewhere between Y10 and Y0 initially, and then we'll work on taking it down to bedrock in another phase, and then texturing it in another phase, and then doing the waterfall feature in the back in a fourth and maybe a fifth phase, depending on how we break that piece up. But trying to break it into more manageable chunks, because if we're able to continue doing this, I want to be able to have our breakdown of day whatever, and then also part one of project X, part 2 of project X, and so on. So that the days can track more or less the whole story of how the world is progressing. And then we have individual parts to whatever project we're working on. And And then it's probably easier to remember too, because you don't have to, if we split it up, you don't have to remember, day 556 we were working on this, and then day 623 we were working on this. It's just, if you were to search the VODs, it would be, you're just searching for that project. And then all of those parts would come up. Because we work on a couple things in some of the streams. So we could put, multiple projects in the title, but either way, making it a little more descriptive by, instead of the ravine, it's, the ravine phase 1, phase 2, whatever. That kind of thing. Dirt. Okay, so we have a lot of material still to go around, so let's just grab all of that. It's kind of fun how the light hits the side of it and it creates these like lasers coming through. Get some dirt over here. Make a couple circles over here, grab this material, and then drop it off. Did we fill up our inventory? We did. Okay. So we should have that coming back through now. Drop that off, that off, that off. Okay. Let's grab a carrot and then let's go see if we can get that creeper to do some more carrots. What? You left. Alright, we might as well drop off some of this so that we can have more inventory. Okay. How much time do we have? Okay, let's go. Okay, that's pretty good. This is 60, so still not. Still not 58, but here's 58. Okay. Alright, cut a little path on the side here. So it's dirt and how much? Okay, good. I want to make sure that we're staying inside the wall and also not releasing any of the water in the lake in here yet. Guess we didn't go low enough. Okay. We'll cut it here. Okay. So before we dig between the lines, we have to get our lines going. So I'll do this for another 10 minutes or so. Okay. Oh, there's a fish up there. Okay. Get some of this through. Alright, water shovel. Get our dirt and gravel. Alright, doing pretty good now. And there. Oh, so that's what we were trying to avoid. Okay, so this is okay, so now that's sectioned off. So actually pretty happy with the progress we're making today. I'll come over this side. Yeah. Yeah, really happy with the progress. 58 or so, getting it down a couple levels. I mean, that's still 2 levels a day would still be like a month, give or take. But it would be better than 2 months per side, so like 6 months just for the ravine. here. Okay. Yeah, this is doing good. I think we might just pause. Well, whenever we end stream, we'll just end it at our bed. And then we'll do our mending and stuff later. So, okay. It's not bad. I think we'll finish this little section here. We'll go back to Inkwood proper, do our little outro, and go from there. Unless there's any questions in chat, we may stick around a little while. If not, that will be our and let's get off. Okay. Put in a bunch of that. Okay. Put in their stone. Flint. Okay, so that's good enough for now. So let's head out and what we could put in here. Let's grab this. Grab our soap touch. Grab our copper. Get our experience, and then drop our ingots over here. We'll sleep, and while we do that, thank you 1M Sleepy, and thank you Heart for and everyone else for the likes and follows. Much appreciated. Every view, like, and follow helps us be able to do this more. So if you like what we're doing, feel free to spread the word. If you like what we're doing, feel free to stick around and follow us in our various platforms. And if you really like it, feel free to spread the word. This was day 557 of the journey. And the journey will continue tomorrow. You can find more of our stuff on Linktree. So Linktree/MyTripMedia. The link will be on the outro screen. It will have links to our TikTok here, Twitch here, the VODs over on YouTube. I will have links to our Blue Sky where we make our announcements of when we go live. And yeah. So again, the plan is to do Planet Crafter later today. Keep an eye on Blue Sky for when we go live there. We'll be live on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube again. And thank you again for all of the support. We will see you tomorrow when the journey continues.